Welcome back, friends. LostScarf here, and it's time for more Apollo Justice. Let's get into this thing. July 10th, 11:23 a.m. District Court, Defense Lobby number 2. Oh, I got you get Apollo Eustace. Hey guys, I'm Rousing. Apollo Eustace. That's Justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. That sounds wrong. That's Justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some, boy. That doesn't sound right at all. Apollo, no, don't tell a boy that. Believe? I know shooting. Machi claims Mr. Lettuce was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap, and he walked right into it. Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close, very close. Then I hear a voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room? And found Mr. Lettuce already dead and then you heard the shots? If that's true... So, you're at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots? Wait, what? How's that work? You escaped through the air vent. I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I open the vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Oh, yeah. So use the vent. Is that how the vanishing trick works? Is using the vent system? But how did you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I heard this from Magician. Magician? Don't look at me! A magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Mr. Lettuce. Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's going to go over well in court. Not. Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says. Even lies. No, I'm not. That's what Daddy always told me. Really? What? I'll just pretend I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. So what do we do? You sure you won't testify, Machi? No talking, no. I think little girl voice would have been better for him. Well, it was worth a shot. That cocoon. Mama. I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Begonia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Begonia is death. That's right, it's punishable by death. Of course, he's scared. Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach. That's the spirit, Apollo. What's your plan? If Machi won't testify what it is, Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right. July 10, 11:28 a.m. District Courtroom number 3. Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So will he testify? Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame. And yeah, I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. I feel like my voices are different today. Why? Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. There's some water. A different angle? If Machi won't testify, Then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case. Lamior. Lamior.
Objection!
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lamior's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can... Lamior was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? He was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted Lamior dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. How? How have you not heard such a report? Prosecutor Gavin. Why would anyone be out to kill Lamior? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been? You don't think? I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Lettuce. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. Am I to understand that this is what you are saying? Namely, that there's a nugget of truth in Lamior's testimony? A nugget we have yet to uncover? Exactly. If Lamior was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lamior's testimony once more. Alright, here we go. Lamior, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realizes this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescend, yes? That is correct. At which point, I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed, and was found to be quite soundproof. Well, reading how we're going to connect this one. You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice? Hey, Rainstrad. I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something out there. There is, it seems, much you do not know. And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court. Of course, Your Honor. What I heard. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Lettuce and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. She could smell gunpowder. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth. It is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lamior was attacked because of this testimony. What, Trucy? Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. But maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead. Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness. Alright, here we go. What I heard. Here we go. Oh yeah, I read. Okay, press. Is something wrong? There is an objection. But she's saying the same thing she said before. Mr. Justice. Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony. Now I know what they mean about the reckless youth these days. The one in red over there is a shining example here, Judge. The last person who should be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar. Darren Crescent. I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him. The one who took the stand yesterday. How many times do I need to remind you? That's impossible. There's no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed. Is that why? Of course. Apollo? If we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere. He's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try. What were they talking about? Lemire, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I have given it much reflection, but... I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase? Do you remember something that was said? Why didn't you say something... Why didn't you say anything yesterday? Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it! The clue I've been waiting for! Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Lettuce. The shooter then, Darren Crescent. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Which? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Lettuce? I thought it quite strange myself, afterward. It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this? Sure, it's a very, very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony? Maybe, Apollo. From the small window, I heard a voice say, press the switch now. And it was Detective Darren Crescent's voice? Yes, I am sure of it. It's over. Press the switch. Why would he say that to Mr. Lettuce? Apollo! The murder weapon, the revolver, was Mr. Lettuce's, right? Yeah, what of it? Well, maybe when he said press the switch, he really meant to say pull the trigger. Because his English isn't so good. Darren Crescent is a native speaker! Oh, right. Sorry, I kind of forgot who was what. Press the switch. That's not something a killer usually says to his or her victim, is it? Was there no one else in the room? I do not know. All I heard was Mr. Lettuce and the detective. I have a guess, but let's keep going. There were 2 gunshots. Yes, I heard 2, one after the other. That fits with the bullet holes at the scene. Nothing really here new to pick up. Here's my question. The smell of gunpowder? Why didn't you tell someone immediately? Well, If it were me, I would have gone to the police right away. It's our duty as citizens. This may be beside the point, but Lemire isn't a citizen. And one would hope such common sense prevails in Baconia as well. Lemire seems awfully quiet all of a sudden. That's strange. Could she be hiding something? It is as you say, yet at the time... Why was she in a hurry? You were in a hurry? To go where? I was on my way to the backstage exit, as I have said. Why were you in such a hurry then? Well, I don't think that has anything to do with this case. Does she need the bathroom? It very well might. Please answer the question. Objection! Are you alright, Lemire? Yes, I'm just tired. Recall what I told you yesterday, your forehead. Lemire suffers from serious amnesia. Please refrain from traumatizing you further. What? But he can just dismiss questions he thinks are too traumatizing? Won't you prove a reason had a connection to the case before asking about it, yeah? Prosecution's objection is sustained. The current question is moot, Mr. Justice. Please continue with your cross-examination. Lemire was attacked because of this testimony. I know she was, so something's gotta be hidden there. Maybe there's some detail we're missing. I guess we'll just have to get her to fill in the blanks. Right. Alright, so let's go over the switch then. So let's present the switch. Gotta be this. Saving. There we go. Objection! The trigger. Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage. The stage? Where the concert was held, yes? This was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lemire heard was of someone commanding another to press this switch? It's a possibility. Oh, forehead. I'd call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert for him. The stage was quite far from Lemire's dressing room. Isn't it possible Darian's up here, and she heard him talking from up there with the headsets, while someone else was the shooter? Not to mention that the Gaviniers were in the middle of a concert on said stage. They weren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard. The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout. So too have for its cries a possibility fallen far short of being heard. Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from the dressing room. There it is, headset. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this? Why, that's... What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking? No. This is a type of transmitter, a communications device. Communications device? From what I've heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, actually. They're talking between band members. You all had one on. But you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple. Objection! True, but wait, those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, the range is quite limited. Lemire said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram on the concert forum. Ugh! Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far. But the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be! When Lemire heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage. Ah, you're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch? Well, I guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where this switch was, there's little point in debating it. I was sure this was the way to go with this. What is this switch anyway? We don't even know with that basic fact. Oh. Wait a second. I do know what the switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes the case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about the switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened.
Well, Mr. Justice, you have any further information to share concerning the switch?
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Justice.
I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what the switch is.
Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to this case. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what the switch is?
Either the burnt guitar or just the lighter itself. Build the lighter. Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this?
Look, that's... What? What? Is it another one of those newfangled phones?
This is an igniter. What phone looks like this?
Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter?
Yes, actually.
You aren't saying this switch is a remote?
I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter.
What?
Look, I'll show you.
Whoa! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom.
Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected.
If my whiskers had caught on fire...
Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you?
You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you?
Ah! Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. But it was earlier than the shooting, when your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance.
Wasn't that part of the stage show, though?
Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned. And the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right. He got it in Begonia from Lamior. He said that sound was amazing before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes.
The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Hey, forehead.
Yes?
Don't tell me you're saying... Oh. Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lamior, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire?
I am. It's really simple when you think about it. First, Lettuce and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed and the guitar caught on fire, but that was during the second set. So, how are we going to fix that part?
Well, that does seem to make sense. There's something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Really? It seems pretty simple to me. Oh, here it comes.
Hey, forehead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you.
Huh?
I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong. What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? The simple story simply makes no sense. Think, that night my guitar caught fire, yes? The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set.
Heck, that's right, of course. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering where he's going with this line for. Yeah, the guitar caught fire during Lamior's song.
Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated.
That's why Lamior was in a hurry, because she was trying to finish the trick. Which means he was killed during the second set, which leads to the question of, why was there shooting during the third set? That means Lettuce was shot during the second set. Lamior was in a hurry because of the magic trick, which he was sworn not to explain. So he was laying there the whole time during the third set. The second set to the third set, then. That's what was happening. So the shooting was in the second set. Interesting.
The two are utterly unrelated. Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. Your premise for this is faulty. See? This story makes no sense.
Unless... Are you sure about that?
What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premise for our explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far.
What premise is this, specifically?
I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act.
What's this? But Detective Emma Sky had shot and found the body. All this happened in the third act.
Gunshots rang out. And according to his testimony, Machi was in the dressing room at the time.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony. Namely, that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting.
This is insane.
Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. Next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote trigger igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, I only draw one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act.
What? Order! 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 But that goes against the evidence.
What does, Your Honor?
This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes?
Hey, that's right, look. The bullet's supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look, why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it is had some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics.
You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed? Prosecutor Gavin. If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet her forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. As a ruse.
Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. He used ruse like I did. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way.
Order! 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 That would explain this most unusual situation.
It does! The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second.
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic. For it's flawed from the very beginning.
Flawed?
Yes, a contradiction, Air Forehead, one I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lamior have heard a voice through it?
Oh,
I know that you would like to divert our attention to this critical fact, from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise.
Right. Lamior's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch. And near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be coincidence, but how do I make it work?
I see a more direct line of questioning is required. The crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime. That window was closed. Can you tell us how Lamior heard the voice? A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
The headset again! Okay, Justice, you've got one thing to prove, and one thing only. Lemire heard a voice. And she heard it during the second set. Think how was Lemire able to hear the voice? Is divine hearing, the window's open? She was somewhere else? I'd go with divine hearing for the headset, but alright. The window had to be open if she smelled gunpowder. Obviously, the window was open. Had to be for her to hear the voice. Objection! To smell the gunpowder.
News will in her forehead. That horse is dead. Stop beating it for all earth's sakes. That window was closed. This is a hard fact reported by the investigation team.
But...
Oh? You have evidence to the contrary, perhaps?
Well, no, but...
Then do be quiet. I tire of this charade.
Yeah, time to rethink this. Let me hear the voice. Alright, okay, we're going divine hearing. The window was closed, as you say. Yet Lemire could still hear the voice. Because she has the power of divine hearing. Why would you say that? That's the only explanation.
The witness is a siren, Mr. Justice, not a saint.
I said hearing, Your Honor, not healing. Well, that fell on deaf ears. I'm not sure I know what this divine hearing ability is.
Then perhaps we should hear it straight from the all-powerful voice himself. Here to explain how clairaudience has anything to do with this case?
Can we just move on from now?
Only if you can enlighten this court.
Time to rethink this. Alright. So it is she was somewhere else. I wanted to use the headset again, but alright. He was somewhere else. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it had it been open either. Meaning, it was impossible to hear the voice through that window.
Ah, it's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Begonian, too.
As I was saying, Lemire could not hear the voice through the window. So there can be only one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely.
What's this? You do amuse me so. And yeah, I thought you and
what if Lettuce did the gunshots himself to get attention? After he got shot, he regained consciousness and fired.
And here I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, Forehead? Lemire clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there's only one small window at the scene.
Are you sure?
Huh?
Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is.
Ah, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You claim Lemire heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was.
Lemire heard the voice from here. There? The vents? Come safe. I assume the vent.
Does this look like a small window to you, Mr. Justice?
That's the state of modern society can be read from numerous objects and artifacts. In a sense, anything can be a window on our society.
I didn't ask you to point out a window in society. I want a window on the crime scene.
No point for trying. No point for trying? Alright, well, And the small window we know about was closed. There's only one other thing she could have meant. The mirror? No. I'll be doing a lot of clicking. If we just pick the window, we're not gonna... just pick the window.
There, that's a small window. And this changes what?
Not much, I know. I couldn't find anything better, so...
The court applauds your honesty and weeps for your case, Mr. Justice.
Not the only one crying here. Apollo, think it through again. I know, I'm trying. Lemire claims she heard the voice through a small window. And the small window we know about it was closed. There's only one other thing she could have meant. Lemire heard the voice from here. damn it! Ah, there it is, the vent. I didn't realize you can go over here. She was in the ventilation system because of the magic trick. Can I not go up there? Can I go up there? This is where Lamior heard the voice from.
But that's no small window. That's the air vent.
What did she tell us? She said she's a Burgonian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window.
Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous.
No, ludicrous is a parrot as a witness, man.
So Lamior was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice?
That's the only logical explanation, yes?
Logical? I do not think this word means what you think it means, Air Forehead.
Okay. What about it isn't logical?
Ha! It hardly merits saying. Why would Lamior be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat. No offense intended to her, of course.
The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lamior? You have been listening to the discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed. But why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter. Ugh! The problem here is words. Lamior, the small window through which you heard the voice. Was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall? Yes, it was up on the ceiling.
What?
There it is.
Order! Order! I will have order! Witness, you will clarify the statement to the court. Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact, I was. I'm sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point. Yes, well, why the heck were you up there?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
Magic trick. I'm not sure. I can't.
May I remind you, this is a murder trial. We'll hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Machi knew about the vent because she needed it for the magic trick. Above the ceiling. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. That's a big-ass vent! Okay, so the opening, only Machi could fit the opening, but this area, anyone could fit in, okay. I had heard there was a small window there before. I was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. I am bound to secrecy on this matter. The magic trick. That's why the magician left, so he doesn't have to explain his own trick.
Bound to secrecy?
In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold.
But you say you were in the middle of your performance. But this did happen during the second set.
I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard.
Yes.
Then that explains how she could smell the gunpowder.
Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in the detail. That's what the cross-examination is for, yeah? Air Forehead? Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
What are you going to do, Apollo? I'm going to find out the truth. She was up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Well, we know the reason. We just have to figure out how to get her to say it. Okay, I know the reason. Apollo doesn't yet. Above the ceiling. Could you be more specific? I cannot. Because you're bound to secrecy. Yes. To tell the truth, I was not supposed to even say I was above the ceiling. I dare not say more. Yeah, when the magicians do the trick where they disappear and they reappear somewhere else, they're going through some sort of system and they're booking it real fast. And so, what they're doing is they're trying very hard not to show heavy breathing whenever they do that, or they just exercise enough so they don't show it. When a magician does these tricks where they go from one place to another. Because they need to get real quick to it. And so, they're just really good at faking not needing to breathe a lot whenever they do that, when they have to rush to a thing. So she's in a hurry from point A to point B for this trick. Because, well, that's the trick. And she can't stop and tell anyone anything, or else it would just ruin the set. So, apparently she's a performer first. Doesn't sound like I'll be able to coax it out of her just by asking. By small window, you mean the air vent? I only remembered I needed to be careful of where I put my hands and feet. I cannot see the light coming through the window, of course.
The air vent grate could trip you up, certainly.
So I was walking very carefully when I heard the gunshots. Startled, I crouched and listened. That is when I heard his voice come from the room. Darian's voice. I knew something terrible had happened yet. So without a word, you just let the third set start? After the curtain closed for the second set, there was still much to do. You could have prevented this whole misunderstanding if you had only told us sooner. Yes, perhaps I could have.
I see little point in badgering the witness. What's done is done. The mind works differently when one is in the middle of a performance.
It's true, it really is.
Why, I've lost my voice in the middle of a show and kept on singing completely unaware.
Singing without a voice?
If only all contradictions were so obvious.
If only I could get Lamior to talk. Pressing her like this doesn't seem to be getting me anywhere. But we will press her more, because we will. You heard the gunshots during the second set during your performance. You're quite sure? Yes. Why would I lie about the time?
Why didn't you tell us this yesterday?
No one asked. I thought you all knew. I told you Machi was not the killer. I told you this many times. Yes, you did. But you never told us why. I am sorry. I was not able to speak of it. Unable or unwilling? He's not talking, Apollo. What do we do? We'll just prove it ourselves. As long as she is bound by this pact of silence, she won't talk. But if I can prove why she was up there, she'll have to admit it. But how are you going to do that? She was singing on the stage, Apollo. She couldn't have been up above the ceiling, too. Yes, she could. I've got a theory as to why, too. And maybe I've got the evidence to prove it. Will you have the evidence? I am bound to secrecy on the matter. Exactly who bound you to secrecy? I'm not sure I'm allowed to say who it was. No, I think perhaps that is all right. It is just a name, after all. It was Valent Grimadier. Perhaps you know him?
Valent Grimadier? What?
You mean Uncle Valent?
What? Valent Grimadier? Who's Valent Grimadier?
A grand magician. The one responsible for the illusion performed during our concert. Interesting reaction, Prosecutor Gavin. Lamier was bound to secrecy. It's going to take some hard-hitting proof to make her talk. I think I know why she was up there, but how do I prove it? Give it. Would we use the videotape? I guess we'll try the videotape. Saving. No, not there. There it is, right there. Lamior, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear. Especially when you consider what happened during your performance. What happened? Yes, it's all right here on this video. It wraps itself around me, and now through the air I fly. Yeah, she had the rush. Whoa. Whoa. Burning on in my heart. Fire. Burn my love away. All away. Yeah, she heard that part as she's running. Like a bullet of love. Fire. Take my life away. All away. You can actually see the stage piece right there. Guitar, guitar. Up together to the sky. As we can see, Lamior was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. Though it saddens me to be so realistic. Lamior is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view. And during that time, she moved to the back of the forum. Apollo! What, Tracy? It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules. But I'm a lawyer. I'm not supposed to be nice.
This is all very fascinating. But how is it possible? There's only 20 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast.
He knows.
Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin?
This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed.
Aha!
He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. See, everything traces out through the ceiling. It goes from the stage through the backstage to the rear of the forum. Recall Lamior's testimony from yesterday. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There's something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
You went from the stage to the backstage exit. A perfect description of this route above the ceiling.
Lamior knew of this because of her part in the illusion. But she wasn't the only one who knew.
What?
Just now in the lobby, Machi told me something. I know if I open an event, I can leave stage and backstage.
He said that? He said that?
Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin?
I knew about the Vanishing Act, of course. Yet I had no idea the route that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me?
Magicians only reveal details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know. Which is why he bound Lamior to secrecy. Well, Lamior? I'm impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you.
So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling?
I did.
Well, that's that, but I'm still a little confused.
Why is that, Your Honor?
As I said before, there was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared.
It was enough time.
20 seconds, tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice.
That's a good question.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I cannot.
Very well, Mr. Justice.
Yeah?
It's all up to you. Do your thing.
What thing, Your Honor?
You need to explain how Lamior was able to teleport like she did. Or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater.
Why do I get picked on? It's Lamior who isn't going along with the program here. I've stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail.
Then you'll have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her.
Yes, if you would, please. Right. I feel like a student before the finals. Good luck, Apollo. We still gotta get testimony out of Crescend. Ugh! How much can my throat take? The big illusion! How much can my throat take indeed? I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There's an emergency exit in the backstage, where a stagehand awaited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice. In 2 minutes? In 2 minutes?
2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens.
I suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something.
As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice.
You had 2 minutes? Right, Your Honor. All I had to do was find the contradiction between what Lamior is saying and what we can see plainly in the video. I figured it out already. I am a magician, after all. They used a double or a projection or something. Well, tell all. Well, tell me.
Tell me! Tell me!
Well, tell me. Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secrets. Come on. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. Expert magician witness. That would be very useful. Press. About to summon. Press. How did you proceed along this route? How? Why, I walked. But you arrived behind the forum much too fast to have been walking. Tell the truth, Lamior. You rode some kind of vehicle.
What? A vehicle? What vehicle?
Ah, what a novel idea. I like it. Hey, that's not a bad guess. Wrong, but not bad. Yes, laugh at the dumb attorney. I don't mind. I'm sorry, but the girl is right. That vent was much too small for vehicles. It was a tight fit. Even I had to crouch as I walked. I cannot imagine a vehicle would fit in such a small space. Ugh. If it wasn't a vehicle, what was it?
You had me going for a while there, Mr. Justice. Too bad. Perhaps a slip and slide? Ready for the next part?
Why do I feel like I'm on some kind of quiz show? Did everyone on the concert staff know about the trick? Not all. Only a few that were needed to help. See? Like I said, it's on a need-to-know basis. Though not many people knew about the trick.
What were these strange hands required to do?
One needed to open the emergency exit. The door to the stairs is locked, but once through there... Yes. So when you came back out, you were behind the audience? Yes, that is how it works. Not a bad show if I do say so myself. That's Uncle Valent for you. The old Grand Marnier would touch.
But on the video, you were only gone for 20 seconds. How is that possible?
That's the part I don't get either. Yes, it would be hard to go so far in only 20 seconds. Two minutes! Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you are running. Running? In that cramped, dark tunnel above the ceiling? Mr. Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me. Ah, that's true, but...
So you're saying that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes?
Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway. Lanier disappears in the video for 20 seconds. But she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How? If you want my professional opinion, I'll bet the answer's right there in that video.
Well, Mr. Justice, perhaps you have some evidence for us? Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony?
Evidence explaining the discrepancy? Clumsy. Let's try. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. There is. The videotape itself's all I got.
Aha! So this is it, the magical key to unlocking this illusion's dark secret. Tell us how it works. Quickly, I can't bear the suspense.
I was kind of hoping someone else would jump in at this point. Well, you see...
Yeah, Judge, I do hate to spoil the mood. But I haven't the faintest idea what he's talking about, and neither does he.
I'm a little confused too, there, Apollo. Right. By which I conclude that I was wrong. Better luck next time, Pollywog.
Mr. Justice, I'm holding you responsible for spoiling my mood.
Was that a tear I just saw in... Was that a tear I just saw in the judge's eye? Alright, nothing to do but rethink this through. The key's in the video somewhere, I'm sure of it. I was on my way when I heard the voice. And it was Darian's voice you heard? Yes, I am certain it was him. Matter best left for later, yeah? Put that foil of yours to work on this illusion first. Hold on, I think the identity of the killer is a little more important, don't you?
Importance, importance. Objection overruled. Tell us about the illusion.
Are you just trying to avoid the problem at hand, Apollo? Trying to avoid the problem? This is a murder trial. The killer is the problem. The contradiction between Lemuel's testimony and the video. Unraveling an illusion can't be so different from solving a normal case, right? Sorry, Apollo. I'm not telling. Not even if you make those puppy dog faces. Fine, fine. We sure we don't have a... Okay. She says it's on the tape, but where? We just use the tape, right? Alright, now we're just gonna throw things at the wall. We're gonna start throwing things at the wall at this point. Here's no evidence. What kind of evidence could prove that? What's your professional opinion about this one, Tracy? Sorry, I don't work in evidence. And I don't work in tricks. I'm the attorney, not a magician, for crying out loud. Really? I'm sure Daddy would have loved working on this. Thanks, that makes me feel so much better.
Well, I don't know about all of you, but I find this mystery fascinating. And I'm not letting this trial go any further until we get to the bottom of it. The defense will continue with the cross-examination until we have some answers.
Easier said than done. Alright, well... Let's scum save at that spot. Let's see if we can pull this off. We're going down the line, because I've got no clue. I've got zero clue what the answer to this one is. How do we prove this? I don't know. So here we go. Ah, what the... Alright, okay, what? I thought this might come in again, but I wasn't sure where. Lamior, do you happen to remember this brooch?
Aha, the brooch. We saw that yesterday, did we not?
It was found at the scene, Your Honor.
And you're bringing this up now? Why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped.
So did I, but we hadn't.
Huh?
Take another look at the video. What? She's not wearing in the second part, is she? It's there. Oh god, it's not there. Here you can see, she's wearing the brooch.
So she is.
Let's look at it a bit later. Did we get a chest shot? Yeah, it's not there.
What? The brooch, it's gone.
I never noticed that. Damn.
What?
Yes. The brooch disappeared in a short space of 20 seconds. And it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can be only one explanation. The Lamior we see before the Vanishing Act and Lamior we see after are two different people. There it is, double. Alright, they used a double.
What?
The brooch was found on the floor at the crime scene. And not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Lamior, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way from the stage to the backstage? At the very moment you witnessed the crime? Yes, I think I did.
Oh! Order! Prosecutor Gavin! From your expression, I gather you had no idea this was the case, Judge. I, of course, knew about it. What? Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time.
So, I was right? There was a switch?
There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Lamior was replaced. While we're on the subject, just who was this replacement, Lamior? Why, the man behind the illusion, Valent Gamarier.
It was Gramlarie? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. Yes? The switch happened before this tower rose, correct? So you weren't on that stage. That's right. But this fake Lamior is still singing. And she's pretty good.
That's true.
Come on, Apollo. That's an easy one. Recording. They're just playing a recording. It's called lip syncing. You ever seen Britney Spears? Jesus.
The Governors aren't some kind of air guitar band, Fraulein.
Oh, you mean I'm wrong?
When we play a live show, we play live, no recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Lamior?
Very well. I can sing walk.
Yes, do tell and add it to your testimony.
I had to keep singing, even while I moved. Ah, balls! How come they didn't hear her sing then? You were singing? Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings. So I used this. Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage? Why should it matter where I sing whenever where I go is the same darkness? That means they would hear her sing running around. That's why he mentioned the siren.
But if you were singing while you were walking...
That's right. Wouldn't the shooter and victim have heard? He was singing right over their heads after all. That is right.
Are you sure?
You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling.
Once again, we come back to the state of the scene of the crime.
Wait, the music's playing in the backstage the whole time, so would they hear her over the music itself? Like, they just hear her and her at the same time because of the PA system, right? So...
Once again, we come back to the state of the scene of the crime.
What state? Huh, I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo. The speaker? Yeah, there it is. That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Huh? That's for monitoring the stage from this room? Monitoring? It pipes in a real-time feed from the stage microphones? Useful for knowing when your set is coming?
Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage.
How does she not get feedback on that?
At my request, actually.
The Lamior singing in the ceiling. It sounded just like Lamior singing over the speaker.
Ingenious. Her voice was hidden by her voice.
Ah. Lamior? I have just remembered something.
Do tell.
When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes? Why wouldn't the gunshots get picked up by the freaking headsets? I'm confused on that. It startled me, so I stopped singing.
What?
I forget the words I was supposed to sing. The song stopped? Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse. But not many would notice. The what? Whoa?
Go ahead. That mixing board I lent you. Where is it?
The mixing... Huh? That machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks. Oh, this. I completely forgot about it. Let's take a listen. Oh, we're doing this? Oh, we're doing this. Sugar, sugar. Ah, honey, honey. Oh, that night in your embrace. When... Oh, we've done the song so many times. When you stole away the keys. My heart held on you so tight. Yeah, there's the thing right there. There's the floor. Pleasure. But a fleeting melody. The song does stop there!
It does? I have missed it. I must have missed it.
Look at the lyric sheet. At the top of the second verse. There's supposed to be 2 pleasures. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again! Oh god, we're doing this. And you stole away the keys. My heart held on to so tight. Pleasure. But she only said it once, I said it twice. Oh god, anyone who caught that early on in this game, well done on being detail-oriented. Or paying attention to detail. Whatever the right word is. Detail-oriented. Paying attention to detail and noticing she only said it once. If you play this game and notice that, kudos. Kudos on catching details.
This is evidence indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake.
Crime didn't happen during the 3rd set. It happened during the 2nd, during Lemier's ballad.
If that is true, then no one on stage during the 2nd set could have been the shooter.
Which means that Darren Grissin could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the 2nd set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a child turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains. What's that, Prosecutor Gavin? Therefore, its theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Lemayor's testimony. Yes, is there a problem with this? Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say. But if she is lying to protect the defendant?
But you have no proof.
All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear. Until we hear directly from the man himself.
Yeah, we gotta take on Darren himself.
The man? You don't mean... Yes. Though he is a friend and band member, Darren Grissin must take the stand. I see no other way. As someone with a new perspective on the case. As a suspect, to be frank.
Grumble, 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 grumble. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. And I'm ready to catch him. Darren Grissin, get ready for justice.
This is as good as a time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin. I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are. Very well. Court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess. 2 rounds of kickball.
I'm never letting that joke go. Darian's gonna be the next part? Damn, alright. That's good, because my throat's not happy. Alright, let's save. So, yeah, Darian's the final act. He's gotta be. There can't be another day of investigation. There's no way. Alright, so that's gonna be it for today. That right there is the game. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.